friends, welcome to Science with me. My name is Dr. Erica with Rosie Research, and I am so excited that you are joining me in this Tinkercad circuits tutorial. We will also build this on a breadboard in real life if you have the Elegoo kit. And today we're going to make a motion-activated Harry Potter song. So you're going to need to bring out a breadboard and an Arduino because we're going to play a big long song and it's going to need some brains, and the Arduino is always our brains. Now we're going to play our song through the piezo buzzer, which comes in your guys' kit, so you can wire that in, and our piezo buzzers have a positive and a negative, so make sure that we are connecting the things into the right. The negative is going into ground, so I'm going to color this black, and I'm going to put it into this ground right here, and I can wire that ground into the Arduino. It's always important to also make sure that you don't just wire into ground on the breadboard, that the breadboard is wired into the Arduino. And I've done that a few times. All right, and then our positive is going to be an output from our Arduino Uno. So let's color this yellow, and that's going to be the output. So it's going to play some music for us on this. And I thought it would be kind of fun and a little bit magical if this was motion activated. So we're going to use the PIR sensor, which we haven't had a chance to use yet in our classes, and this is a great little way to use it in the Elegoo kit. So when one of us walks by the sensor, then it'll start playing the theme song to Harry Potter. So our PIR sensor has 3 pins. One is the signal, and that is what the Arduino Uno is going to be looking for. One is the power, and one is the ground. So we can hook the ground up into ground, and we can hook our power up into our 5 volts on our Arduino. And again, if we're gonna use that breadboard, we need to make sure that it's wired into 5 volts, otherwise this will never work. All right, and then we can put our signal into, let's say, pin 3, and we can color that maybe a blue. All right, so now we have our piezo buzzer and our PIR motion sensor. We just need to code it. Now you can imagine it's going to be a lot of different notes on this piezo buzzer and a lot of code to be able to write the theme song for Harry Potter. But I wanted to show you guys something that's really, really useful in circuit building and programming, and that is finding somebody else's program that has the piezo buzzer song already. So what you can do is you can open a window and you could say piezo buzzer Harry Potter song, and we can Google search this because somebody has already made this. Now I'm pretty sure this has the code in it, but I do know that GitHub usually always has the code. So if we click on that, here is the code for the theme song of Harry Potter. Now the first whole chunk of this code, all of this right here, is just defining notes. So what frequency does my piezo buzzer have to buzz at to make these notes? B0, C1, F1, E1. So they defined a whole bunch of stuff. And then in here, they start to play the notes. All right, and they have called this the melody so that you can have this whole chunk. You could play just the melody if you wanted to. And then they have, inside of their setup, they've got it playing the melody and adding like the slightly different pieces between the melodies. They don't put anything in the loop because they don't want this to keep replaying, but we're going to change this code around a little bit. But what we need to do is we need to copy all of this code right here, and we say thank you to Robson Quoto for their code, and we can go into our code here and we will do just text. So hit continue when it asks you that, highlight everything and delete it, and then you'll paste that code in. All right, this is something that a lot of programmers do because there's no sense in spending all the time to figure out what are all of these notes, what is the right frequency for them if it's already been done. All right, so the one thing that we do need to pay attention to is where did they put their buzzer on? What pin did they put that? And right here it tells us int buzzer equals 11. Well, we're going to need to change that. We want to put our buzzer on pin 2. All right, so that's somewhat important. And then we're also going to change it because remember, we wanted our motion sensor to turn it on. Right now, if I just hit start simulation, it's going to play immediately. And we want to have to actually do something like go buy this for it to start up. All right, and so what we'll do is instead of playing the song in our setup, we're gonna play the song in our loop and we'll put an if statement around where if this goes high, then we'll play the song. So take the setup and we are going to take everything out of the setup right now. We're gonna cut that all out. Make sure you still have those squiggly lines in the setup and go into your loop. Give yourself a little bit of space and you can paste that in. So now it's going to loop through it a million times forever and ever, but we're going to stop that by putting an if statement around this. Now in our setup though, it's always good practice to write our pin modes. So we're going to set pin mode 2 to output, and we are going to set our pin mode for 3 into input, and that's because 3 is going to be how the Arduino gets information from the outside world into the Arduino. All right, so now we just need to write the situation of when this goes off. So inside our loop, our void loop, not in the setup anymore, now we're in the loop, we're going to say if, and if the motion sensor goes off, then we're going to play this song. So the way we can see if the motion sensor is going off is we're going to read. So digital read on pin 3. If that is equal to high, now the 2 equal signs are really, really important there. Then we're going to do all of this fun stuff, and we need to put our squiggly at the end of all the fun stuff we're going to do. And that will make it so that this only works, this song only plays every time that this reads high. So now we can start our simulation, and you notice it doesn't start up. The way that you can pretend to get motion on this is if you click on your little motion sensor, it will give you this area right here, and if you click on this dot, that is going to say to the computer right now, okay, somebody walked by and this is going to go high, and we'll play our song. And it will keep playing that song for us. We can moderate the volume if you guys would like to, and I'll show you guys how to add that in right now. So the way that we moderate the volume here is we add a resistor. Now we could add a resistor that's really, really big or really small, and then we could swap out resistors to get what we want, but that might take us a really long time to do it. I'm gonna move this down. Instead, what we could do is we could put a potentiometer here, and that would allow us to vary the resistance as we go. So we can delete this line that goes into the Arduino. We can come over here and search for a potentiometer. Oops, for some reason I got the code. Let's try that again. And we have these in our Elegoo kits, and we used them in our LCD displays. They are pretty great. You should have yours round. And so now instead of wiring straight into this piezo buzzer, we're going to wire our Arduino into the terminal 1 of our potentiometer. All right, and then the wiper, which is the part that changes the resistance, that's going to go right on into our piezo buzzer. But this guy right here, terminal 2, is going to go into ground. And let's color that black. All right, so we sort of have this nice little thing where now we can change this resistance, and we can start our simulation. And we can turn it on. And you can see how quickly we can change the volume of that. And so that's a fun little add-on if you would like to, and that maybe that makes it so you don't startle people quite as much, or maybe it doesn't get on people's nerves as much as if it was blaring loud. It makes it a little bit more fun. Thank you so much for joining us on this fun Harry Potter circuits tutorial, and we hope that you will build them with us on a breadboard and play with them in real life. All right, we will see you in our other science projects, and have a great one, friends. Bye.